Hi everyone, good morning everyone. Thank you Scott and David for the opportunity to talk with you this morning. And I did not see before how many of you here have spoken to your customer? Cool, so I can sit then. I don't need to talk anymore because basically what I'm going to talk today is about talking to your customer. And maybe I will just share some basic tools or basic tips or something that you probably already know. So if you feel bored, write down some very difficult questions and then ask me later on, okay? So this is me. I have a little, quite an interesting life. I live in 6 countries and trying to learn different kind of things from design, education, interaction design, human-centered design, anything that I can learn basically to connect the dots. I'm interested in learning about people, learning about the culture, and building my empathy on the people. At the moment, I'm leading 2 companies, one in Indonesia and one here in Western Australia. Basically, we are helping clients. My clients is individuals, startups, small businesses, also government, universities, and schools, and also companies. Maybe you have heard Spotify? Have you heard about Google and all these companies? And that's some of my clients. And this is me. And what I like is I like a lot of things. I like nature. I like cooking. I like combining cooking and art. And also I like things related to technology with children. So that's what I'm very interested in. And I'm so involved with a lot of things happening in the community, even +8, and morning startup as well, what you're doing today. So what I'm doing, some of the company I've been working on, so I'm helping companies to build their product. So I was quite interested that you said, the guy over there saying about body imaging and stuff like that. That's one of the products that we help our clients, with the mobile, and then they're doing a scanning all over the body. It's like a Superman. It's so cool. And then I was helping a company that helps connecting the dog owner, for example. They are, if I'm going somewhere and then, okay, can I find someone who take care of my dog? And then I can find all about the dog and all these different kind of company that you can think of here. So I'm going to start with my story. This is a story from my friend. He's in Eastern State. I'm not going to say which state, but he has a problem because you know what is happening over there. We are safe here. And then he is saying that he has a problem, and he said, I really need somebody to help with the usability testing of the app or the web that they have. Now I don't know which one it is. So basically, when he filled out something, he was asked, are you a female or are you a male? And he answered, I'm a male. Okay, good. And then the next question, are you expecting? So where is the funny thing here? You know, right? You already choose that you are male, but you are asked, are you expecting? And then all the other questions. And then he said that then he did not get the opportunity to get vaccinated. I don't know why, but this is for some reason related to the gender. So that is quite interesting, because once it's already rolled out, and everybody, a lot of people already use this app, and this is okay, well, it is not something that's supposed to work, right? Especially if the product is already being used in the market. And I'm going to tell you another story. Well, I love this topic at the moment because it's just so close to me. I live in WA. I have not traveled for 1.5 years. So I'm very proud, not traveling anywhere. Because usually I always go overseas every week. And this is okay, well, I'm proud to be here. I feel safe. This is the safest place in the world, right? So I don't feel that I need to be vaccinated. So I heard a lot of things happening in Indonesia, and especially a lot of people, especially now Indonesia is the epicenter of COVID, in Asia. But I don't feel I need to be vaccinated. So I don't have a problem that actually motivates me to do something. So this is probably you can check for behavioral model. So I don't have my motivation low and I have no problem. But suddenly, something happened. My auntie passed away, right? So she passed away, she came to my parents' house, and 2 days after that, she passed away. But what happened? She got COVID. She has been through a lot of tests, but she got COVID and she passed away. And I was starting to go, oops, something is going on here. And 4 days later, my parents, both of them, got COVID. So suddenly, I got this problem actually really motivated. I was so motivated to get vaccine. I know this is not related here, but there's something going on in parallel, about 2-3 weeks ago here, and when we had a lockdown as well. So I was okay, I need to get vaccinated as well. So it goes up my motivation, and then with this problem. So I went, the first thing that I did was I called my GP. Okay, can you do it, right? Can you help me? No, you are too young to do that. We just give it to people who are over 60 to do that. And then, okay. And then I try, okay, let's try the roll-up WA. Have you tried that? Have you all got vaccinated? So it is okay, I tried this one, high motivation, that's the problem, but then I had no ability. About a month ago, I checked every day, could not find anything, okay? So what I did was actually, do you know what I did? Can you guess? What did I do? I tried to find an appointment in Margaret River, in Baselton, in Indonesia, all these places. So the reason is because it was the start of the holiday, right? The school holiday, and okay, I'll do that. So I found one in Baselton, right? Okay, good. This is the first day of my holiday, so it's fun. So I changed my holiday from Mingalu to Baselton, right? And to go there, I did exactly 3rd of July. I checked everything because I know it was so hard. Then what happened was I submit, and then I got an email. Yeah, I got an email. Then but I did not check it right away. And a few hours later, I checked. It was 3rd of August, which is not holiday anymore. I can't afford to take and I just did not know what happened. Was it in the system, or was it me who made an error, right? So anyway, I decided no, this is not possible. I want to change again, and I want to see what other possibility. So what happened when I tried to change the other possibility? What happened is that I had to cancel, and that actually really scary. I had the scary moment because if I have to cancel, I would not get anything. And I would not get anything, I have to wait another week or another month. But I said, well, this is I have nothing to lose, so I cancel. And I could get something near my house. This is in Bambi, and then, okay, finally I got a place, and I said, oh, that's good. But what? This is my next appointment in next week. So if you see here, this is my journey, right? So what happened here? I don't criticize this system at all. But what happened, if you hear my story, that was my journey, right? If you create something for your users, right? you do not just, okay, I want to have this feature and that feature and all these kind of features. You really need to know, you need to embed what is actually happening in your customer when they're actually using the product, right? Even before you put something on this app, on this website, you really need to think, you need to envision the scenario. But again, you need to think, your scenario is not your user scenario. If you look at here, the only option that I have is cancel. There is nothing I can, what is other possibility? When you want to see, right now, you have to open one by one. Date, number, what is it, like a third, fourth, fifth, or whatever it is, like everything. So there is no feasibility for you to see all these options that you have. I found it really interesting, this guy. He did it like for 20 bucks. And he did it last weekend in Sydney, where everybody wants, they got such high motivation because of the problem what is going on in Sydney. And then he created something really nice. It's called COVID Queue, right? Have you heard about this? So basically, he gathered all the data from all these hospitals. So in 12 minutes, what he said, but I keep it like open for maybe 12 hours. Well, I got an appointment, not appointment, well actually it's like a possible date in Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. So that's on the 15th, Thursday, August 26th. So that's really nice. It's something that if I have to say, okay, well, this is something what we really need, right? We got so many options, and then we do not see the feasibility, and this helps me. This answers my needs. I know this, like the user interface is just not good. I mean, like just so bad, and the speed is quite slow, but he helps. He solved a problem, the critical problem that we all need at the moment, and especially in Sydney. So if you think, people think, oh well, UX is so expensive, we don't really need that one. Well, Ross Beck, the Ross Beck CEO of Jaguar Land Rover, he said, if you think good design is expensive, you should look at the cost of bad design. Like I help a lot of banks, and it's like every time some of the banks they said, no, just launch it. Okay, I told you not to launch it. Test it first, right? And then they did. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they didn't listen, because well, this is like too far, too long, and blah blah blah. And one day, like one of the banks, they launched their app, right? In one day, some people got lucky. I got $1,000. I got $10,000, but they did not do anything because the system automatically sent money to anyone. And then some people, how come? I lost money because of this critical thing that they did not see in the journey of their customer. So, for example, you are doing the what is it? The store sugar? The vacuum cleaner. Yeah. Okay. I never say vacuum cleaner. I always say store sugar. It's a Danish word for that one. So basically, when you're doing vacuum cleaner, we have a incident this week, for example. Okay, I have a really expensive vacuum cleaner, and I'm really mindful what goes into my vacuum cleaner. But I had no choice. When my daughters got their fit card and there were so many glasses, I have to sub with my expensive vacuum cleaner. And it's if I know what is now in my vacuum cleaner right now, what is the information of different dust or different things, that would be really helpful so I can take care of my vacuum cleaner. So that's me, just me as a user in my journey, why do I need something that you're doing, right?
We could do a customer interview after if you like.
Okay, so there are a lot of things happening right now and how we can cope. So what is happening right now, we just have an idea, create a product, draw something on the drawing board and then develop and implement and launch it, right? But there's a lot of failures. My clients say that before we apply UX, when we launch the product, we receive maybe hundreds or maybe thousands of complaints. Right now, we spend a little bit more time, like 1 day more or 2 days more, and then each time we develop something, we do the sprint, we ask the customer how they are doing. And then like when it is launched, we have a less complaint. Basically the complaint is just minor. So we can envision what is happening just long before it is published. So when we talk about product design here, we talk about the user needs and also the business goals. How we can marry both of them and balance both of them to create consistently successful product. It's not a product that is only successful when you launch it, but it is consistently successful. So user experience is about user relationship with the brand over the time. So whatever brand you have, Cracky, for example, how do you feel like your customer before they know Cracky, like Scott asked, like what is Cracky? What is the name of that? Like how does it sound to me? That is the beginning of the journey of the user that you should take consideration. And then it's like when somebody using it, and then when somebody like not using it anymore, and when somebody come back and using the same product. So designer, I think everyone here needs to know or already know that designers should always keep the users in mind. We talk about UX, we talk about the 4 different things here. The first thing is the design, of course, technology, of course, and then the business is important, and then also the other thing is the social culture. I do a lot of research in remote areas. A lot of people develop their products in the city. They think, okay, well, this is a really nice product and it would work. It's a marketplace like Uber, like whatever it is that you can think of. Uber for dog, Uber for dog keeper, Uber for food, Uber for anything, right? So basically, this is what a lot of people think about at the moment. And what a couple of cases that I have is like I go to the village and then bring this product and they say, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because it will change the whole ecosystem. It will change the way we communicate. It will change the way that has been here for a long time. But we are okay with the technology that you are going to introduce. But you have to do this and this and this and this and that, right? All these things, a lot of designers, they do not think in the beginning because they are in the city and they never go to the remote area where the product is supposed to be used by the users. But once they go to the, why didn't I think? Because they are not immersed in the life of the users and they don't know. So when I talked before about product, right? We can talk about product, your mobile phone, your bag, your chair, whatever, any product, right? But we can also talk about service. Service, your customer service when you have no tangible thing at all. But at the moment, when you talk about product, it's actually embedded in the service as well. When you create a good customer service, you're not just like talking about your app can do this and that, but also talking about for example, does it give like a good service for me, right? If I translate this if this is a product that translates whatever written on the magazine or anything, does it give you like a good service or not? So it's kind of like embedded at the moment. So this is what I've been doing. Like I started my work in service design by repositioning what was like user experience. The mindset of the user experience was developing product. Even when I did start this project before, this is in Rheinberg in Germany, right? So when I started this, like people, no, you can't design a supermarket, right? Supermarket is not a product. You are just doing the work as a sociologist or market researcher. No, you create, you design, intentionally design how people walk in the alley, how people look at the shelf, how people do things, how people grab things, and that's all discipline like psychology, and or is it like you have to do ethnography, you have to do human factors, and everything is embedded. And like the banks, like we create the design for the future banks, right? So when somebody come into the bank, like we had the idea of, okay, well, there's a robot greeting you and everything online. You print out your book because in some countries they still need the books as a proof for your transaction, like not like here. But then people, oh no, the reason, can you not remove all the people here, the front stage people who actually greeted us? Can you not remove that? Because once you remove, I have no reason, I have no purpose coming to the bank. And do you know why? Because they come to the bank actually to talk to you. So they come to the bank to talk to the people who are in the bank. They make connection that make them like embedded in the society. And it's like, okay, well, I know this guy. She's actually a teller. I like to talk to her, right? And that actually built loyalty to the bank. Build the people. Oh yeah, if there is a people, I would use it. That's really funny, isn't it? Because the idea, the first purpose of the bank is how to automate everything. But that was not the case. Actually, they still need people actually to personally greet them. So that all this insight coming from the user research that we did. And then this is another thing, but I will just skip on this one. So this is like how we perceive the UX. A lot of people think UX is only on the top of the iceberg, right? But actually there are a lot of things, and we go back on that one. So first of all, we do the user need. We start from the bottom to go up. User need and the business goals. Work on that one before you move to anything. And then think about the functionality and the content requirement. This is the time when you don't have to draw or anything. So basically think about what kind of function, what kind of behavior that your product needs to have. And then what kind of content. Oh, well, we would like to have a video. We would like to have information like this. And then the next thing that you have to take is the interaction design and the information architecture. Then this is where you go into detail. And then the skeleton is when you think about how I would need to present my information. And then the final one is what you see, the sensory, the sound, the thing that you see on your app or on your product. So most people make a mistake of thinking design is what it looks like. People think that the designers are handed this book and told, make it look good. And I talk with so many startups, they just, it looks good, what's wrong with that one? That's not what we think design is. It's not just what it looks like and it feels like. Design is how it works, how it solves a problem. And if you don't believe me, that's okay. It's Steve Jobs who said that. So we talk about design thinking, right? Design thinking, I give like a quote here, because when you talk about design thinking, there are so many measures on that one. And like thinking, there are too many thinkings. Like I had a background in academic, and I know how academic works, right? We think too much sometimes, but we should not think too much. We should be more practical. This is how I try to draft things, how we start things. with the conception of ideas, and then you do the prototyping. And then you see like the little arrow there. It shows that it is a process that you have to do iteratively. What does it mean by iteratively? Should we just do and do and do and do again? No. This is the process. I have an idea. I have a concept. I'm going to go to you and ask, what do you think about this concept? Is it going to work? Is it going to solve your problem? And if not, then I have to be brave enough to go back and redo my concept again. So basically, this iterative thinking. And even if you create a prototype after you got the concept, this process has to be done iteratively. What does it mean by that? I only have a really sketches. Nobody will ever be able to understand about this. But that's okay. That's called low fidelity prototyping. That's where you get the first feedback from your customer. And that's easy. You can do it in 1 hour or less than 1 hour. It is better, it's less painful if you do it now than later after 2 or 3 months after you spend a lot of time in coding and you find out that this is crap, nothing works, right? And then you release and you again process this process of testing. It's happening all the time. So this is how we redefine our design thinking. Start with if you can find on the internet, you can find all this ideation, define and reflect and things like that. But when we think about design thinking, it doesn't stop in design. It goes to development, right? So what does it mean by that? In the process of development, you really need to go back to what has been collected through the research, through the design process where you consulted with your users, right? And then once you develop something, high fidelity, coded technology, you still need to go back again. You need to test again. So that's where design thinking is the concept where actually you put user on the center of the process. So this is the normal divergent and convergent thinking. Got a challenge, explore it, and then convert it into like a problem definition, diverge again, and converge again. This is a really nice like a double diamond process, but you really need to think. Don't stop in thinking. Doing and then doing it in an agile way, and that's what the design thinking 2.0 about. Systems thinking, that's what the principle that we try to introduce through the design thinking 2.0. What is that? Systems thinking is what I talked to you before, right? So I'm in the bank, right? I'm doing something in the bank, right? But I do not just think about my robot advisor, my app, which is like a futuristic. I'm thinking of the people who actually greet me. I'm thinking about the people when I send this inquiry, what is happening at the back. That's about system thinking. And then the process of agile is something that's happening iteratively. So fail early, fail fast. You have heard about it often. Don't worry about having it like it's better to receive the feedback early. So this UX process, start with the end. Think of what the big goal you want to achieve and understanding your users and stakeholders. That's the second one is often missing, right? You only think about users who are actually using it. You create something for the kids. The kids are the users. But the kids do not buy your product. It's the parents. Parents are the stakeholders. Let's start with the wicked problem that is not just, okay, well, I'm just like creating something. I don't really like the word just. Whatever you do, it has to have a meaning, right? It has to be able to solve the problems that really a problem. Do not just like a copy paste of whatever like people think about, because that will not make you unique in whatever you do. We can't solve problem using the same kind of thinking we use when we create it. Albert Einstein. So this is what I'm doing. Like when I started a project, right, I write down all the problems, and then after that, I define who is this problem for. And then after that, I'll think further, why it is a problem. And after that, we make the priority, what problem to solve. You cannot solve, especially if you're a startup, you cannot solve 100 problems in one go. Make a priority. That's the most important. And then once you know with the problem for and why it is a problem, you need to start building your empathy. Do you know this story about IKEA? Have you been to IKEA? Do you like IKEA? I like IKEA. The food is so cheap. And I think IKEA liked me too. Because I grew up with IKEA since I was maybe a long time ago. So do you know the reason why they created small things? Like a small showroom? Because they want to watch you. They want to watch you in your natural environment. They want to see what sort of scenario, right? And then I love the story of IKEA. IKEA came from Sweden, so I knew a lot about this. So IKEA, before they go to India, for example, they spend 3 years before they go to India. What they are doing? They send like 2 or 3 people to India and just go to the market and just talk to people and say, can I see your wardrobe? Can I see your kitchen? How do you arrange your stuff? 3 years. 3 years. What is going on there? And it's like they know, the Indian people or the people in India, they think this is how they buy things, this is how they bargain, this is how they love colorful things instead of black like me. It's so boring, right? So, so in Sweden, this is for reason I'm wearing black, right? This is how I wear things when I'm in Scandinavia. And people, okay, everybody just on black Scott, me, we are so boring. No, that's the reason. So when they found out, okay, what happened in India, why people love colorful things, so they rethink, they have a different strategy of marketing. So this is what you need to see, when you look at the different user needs, the functionality, reliability, usability, proficiency, and creativity. This is what you do when you want to do the stakeholder mapping, right? You see who is involved so much in my project, who will be affected so much, and you make a quadrant of that. For the government, they are not so interested, but they are so important. So I will keep them satisfied. I will follow all the requirements. But those people who are really interested and they will buy, and will keep them interested. Do market research and user research. Do you know what is the difference between market research and user research? So what happened is there are some companies, they want to go to Indonesia. They don't have any idea what Indonesia looks like. The product is not in Indonesia yet. So what they do is they're doing a market research, trying to understand if there is a market on that one, if people will buy their product. Once they find there is a market for that one, right, and they will make a decision, yes, I'm going to focus on that one, on that market, now I'm going to do a user research. So market research is actually part of the big user research, UX research. So with the UX research, you will focus more. Okay, for example, I'm creating something for the vacuum cleaner. Okay, well, this is a cool idea. You bring it to Indonesia, and then I'm going to do a user research, and I'll come back to you. Okay, sorry, nobody's going to buy your product because not even anyone they will use broom instead of vacuum cleaner. So, but then if I say okay, well, there's a market, big market in Jakarta, for example. People use robot, like my brother, they're using robot for the vacuum cleaner. Then you will see how, people like my brother using this vacuum cleaner. That's the behavior of my brother actually. That's UX research. So then, when you do a research, you do evaluative research, or you do generative research. What is the difference between that? Evaluative research is when you know, okay, I'm creating something for the imaging, for example. Going to go to US. So I'm going to evaluate the existing product there. Like evaluating how it works, how people perceive on that one, and that's I evaluate the existing product. And I can also evaluate my prototype. But also, on the other hand, if you want to start something new, it's called generative. What do you think about going to the hospital and have an X-ray, something like that? Okay, there's nothing. So you generate ideas from the users. There's so many methods for doing user research, and if I'm here, like I can talk with you like the whole 3 days about all these methods. But I'm just like briefly you want to have a nice feedback about qualitative and quantitative. I'll just give you a really nice example here. Do you know what it is? Burger, right? So if we do quantitative, we're gonna ask them with survey, with a questionnaire, how many ketchup you put in this burger. And then if you do qualitative, then you will ask, how do you feel? What is the taste? What is your experience in total? So you get this qualitative. So if a lot of people ask me, what is the difference between this? Do we have to choose? No, you have to use both. With this quantitative, you will get an idea of how many, how often, but it doesn't tell you why I like this certain kind of product, why I do this, so how I do this. So that's what I find from the qualitative research. Primary, secondary. You go to a US, but you don't know anything. You can't go there. You want to target your market in US. So find some report find some articles, that's secondary research. But if you are able to talk to the people, that's a primary research. Whether it is on Zoom or as you go and talk to people. And when you do research, you have to know, is it attitudinal or is it behavioral? What does it mean by that? I would say, yes, I would say, oh, I don't cheat, okay? But that's my attitudinal. I don't cheat. You ask me, do you cheat? No, I don't cheat, okay, in school, right? Behavioral, when I go to school, I do observe, I cheating. So you have to find. People do not just believe what papers say, right? Do you have that?
You are literally got a minute left.
A minute left. Okay. Just showcase, in-depth interview, focus group. I don't really like it. You can ask me later why I don't really like it. Usability testing. Net promoter score. A lot of business love this, but it is not enough. Analytic. A lot of companies, a lot of startups love it. You need to add something on that one. Cut sorting, I love it. This is like helping you to create like a really nice architecture. Task analysis, tree testing, diary and photo study. It's really interesting. Participant observation and guerrilla user research and observation. We can talk more about this. But I will leave it back to you. Because there are so many methods that we would not be able to learn today. But if you are interested, like you do observation, there are a lot of things that you have to see with your senses, and this will give you deeper understanding about your users. Okay, thank you.
So we do have a bit of time for some Q&A.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, I had a question. You kind of touched on the attitudinal versus behavioral.
Mm.
And some people say like, oh yeah, like you just have to ask your customers stuff. But you can't always just listen to what they say because you have to understand what they do as well. Do you have any frameworks or any, I guess, tactics on weighing up those things? So what they say versus what they actually do?
Yeah. So what you can do is like that's why user research is a bit complex. Before you do a user research, do the secondary research and trying to see from a different theory, from different practice, from existing the success and the failure on that. Frame that one, derive questions, and then based on that question, you basically actually already know, because the first foundation is that you have the assumption of what user needs and the business goals. And when you do user research, you are not going there with a blank ideas. You already know what you want to do, so your user research is actually to validate. But it doesn't mean that if I say validate, it means that you always right? The problem is a lot of people think, okay, well, they don't like it, I don't really care about it. No, that's not. Validation means like showing that, okay, yes, okay, now I have to go back and then trying to rethink again. And yeah, that's how I usually do. And then in the practice, it's a bit like a case by case. You can't really have like a clear like a box how to do it. Yeah.
A good, in fact, I passed over the batch UX thing.
Yeah.
A good practical online resource on the UX process. If you just Google BAT UX, it's a process of designing a new Batman suit. Right, so it goes through all the problems and all the ideation process, and just takes you through a practical example to take what people are saying and putting it into real things. And it's got all these community suggested ideas of new Batman suits based on the process. So yeah, it's Google BAT UX.
Yeah, that's right. There are so many things that you actually have to do. So with this idea that you can do persona, you can do customer journeys, you can do a lot of things here. So basically, you as a designer needs to think critically what needs to be done after that. Yes?
Question. Where do you put it all? Because I don't want to be constantly creating spreadsheets and things like that. I'm just curious, what sort of tools do you use to keep track of all the user information that you gather?
Oh, depending. There are so many tools that you can use.
What do you like?
What do I like?
Yeah.
Okay. I use different kind of things, like for this project management, for example, like for what is like I'm using a lot of Jira, I'm using a lot of Asana, I'm using a lot of, for example, Optimal Workshop. Optimal Workshop. So when we do like a usability testing, and also with the usability testing, I can actually test and how the people actually like moving around this an app or give like a task, they can do it, and then I will get a really nice insight. It's 3 testing. It's also like the network, the information visualization is very nice. You can also use Dovetail. You can use to create a persona. You can use like a UXprecia. It's really nice, but it's all a tool. Interviewer, for example, that's my friend is using, and then when you what happened is like a lot of cases is like you do an interview, you just like take note down, and our memory is just so limited. So the good practice is like you transcribe verbatim like what the people say, and then actually it's not the user who made the problem. It's actually the user researcher asking the wrong question. So you can check on that one, and then deduce. That's also a lot of things like we can talk about it. You can send me so hundreds of different tools. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Well, it's a massive field, and